as a happily married man, I know that love can be a spiritual thing. And I'm in the mall with a friend of mine, and we're just killing time, nothing better to do. And I see in the movie theater in the mall, back when malls had movie theaters in them, I see the girl taking tickets is the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. And it's just the entire package. And even from this far away, I can see these blue eyes that can stare into your soul. And I think, I have to go ask her for a phone number. The problem is, I've never asked a girl for her phone number before. Now, I'm 20 years old, and I've dated, I've had girlfriends, but they were always making the first move. So I didn't have to ask for phone numbers. Not that I was swimming in women, but it's just that, I was lucky enough to not have to make the first move. So I decide, though, I need to go ask this girl for her number. I'm afraid to do this. So I walk around trying to build up my nerve a little bit out in the mall. And I'm sure that didn't give her the creepy vibe at all, this guy walking around out there, especially when he comes up to her to talk to her. So I finally get up the nerve, I walk up to her and I say, "Hi, my name's Russ, you're beautiful, I'd like your number, please." Or something. I'd like to think I was more eloquent, probably not. And she was very nice. She told me her name was Kate. And she didn't give me her number, but she invited me to a Bible study the next night. Now, that's not my idea of a first date, but I've been to Bible studies before. Not that many. I grew up Catholic, so we didn't have that many Bible studies, but I'd gone with some friends. So I thought, well, I can do that. Again, not my idea of a first date, but it's a date. So we went. And our first date, I met her at the Bible study the next night, and I was dressed suitably for a first date. And I met Kate there, and before the Bible study got started, I got to talk to her with about 15 other people there. So there's food and drinks, and we're having snacks, and everything's nice. And then the Bible study starts, and it's segregated. The girls go one way, and they're in a different room, and the guys go to a different room, and I'm going, ah. But that's okay, I'm gonna roll with it, it's fine. So I'm in the guy's room, and I meet the Pastor Ken, and it's his apartment where we're having the Bible study, and he's a nice guy. And then I meet another guy named Russ, which was odd, because at this point in my life, I'd never met somebody else with my name. So the other Russ and Pastor Ken are extremely excited that I'm there, like crazy excited that I'm there. Much more excited to see me than I am to see them. Because I'm there for Kate, but she's in another room sequestered with the women. So we do the Bible study, and it goes well. And at the end of the night, I see Kate, and I say goodbye to her. And everything went so well, we have a second date the next night. Another Bible study. Oh. Same routine. Meet at the Bible study at Pastor Ken's apartment. Small talk over the snacks and the drinks. And then, nice to see Kate. She looks nice and everything. And off she goes with the women. Off I go with the guys. And now tonight, the other Russ is there again. And he's kind of saddled up to me. He's kind of my sponsor, I guess. And we go through this lesson of, we go through the Bible study, and then we do this exercise. And the exercise is list all of your sins. And I'm like, all right, I'm pretty forthright, so I'll do this best I can. And I mean, I'd like to think I had the average number for a 20-year-old guy. So I do this, and we go over him a little bit, and he looks at him, and not really judgmental, and that's fine. But then, kind of turns in mood, and he looks at him and says, Jesus died for your sins. I'm like, yes, I know that. He says, these sins killed Jesus. Don't you feel bad? Don't you feel awful? You killed Jesus. And I'm thinking to myself, no, I don't feel bad. It's a little heavy-handed. I'm not going there. But I also think, when you date a girl, you date her friends too. I want to impress her friends. So I say in the most somber way I can, yes, I feel horrible. And the other Russ nods approvingly, and I know I'm in. Kate and I's third date was a worship service that took place in a hotel banquet facility, not in a church. And it was fun, the worship services go. And I got to talk to her a little more. So I was feeling pretty good about where this relationship was going at this point. So I decided for the fourth date, now things have to get serious. So I got baptized. The baptism didn't happen at a church. It happened at Pastor Ken's swimming pool at his apartment complex. Point of note here, I cannot swim. I am terrified of water. So I'm standing waist deep, fully clothed in Pastor Ken's swimming pool with the entire congregation of 25 to 30 college students around. Very excited that I'm about to, and as they watch, as I'm dunked by Pastor Ken into the water and all my sins are washed away. And I know that that impressed Kate, because she told me so afterwards. She was very happy for me, and I felt very good. So after, I went over to my buddy's house, the same guy that was with me the night that I met Kate. And I went into his apartment, and clearly I had been submerged in water. And he asked me, well, what happened? I said, I got baptized. He's like, oh, you want to get a sandwich? He never really understood, and he never liked talking about my relationships. So I gave him a pass. So, you know when you take the relationship to the next level and it gets more serious, that sometimes one or both people get possessive. Well, that's what happened here, because I started to hear stories from other people in the group that Pastor Ken would set up people's living arrangements, and not like helping them out, but telling them where they could live and telling them who they could live with. And you had to have a roommate with somebody in the group. I thought that was odd. And then Pastor Ken had another he had a sermon where he was talking about how if somebody else came between you and the group, like if they wanted you to not go to the group or started questioning whether or not you should be in the group, you needed to cut them out. Even if they were friends or family, you need to cut them out of your life, because God comes first. This group represents God. If they come in the way of this, you have to cut them out. So very possessive. So I started to realize at this point I was living a lie. I didn't believe those things. There was no way I was going to cut out my friends and family, pick this group over my friends and family, and I wasn't going to let anybody tell me where I was going to live. So I knew that I was living a lie because I didn't believe the things that they believed. Also, the relationship I was having was more with Pastor Ken and for the other Russ than it was with Kate. The whole reason I was there for Kate. So I decided to end the relationship. So I just ended the relationship by simply not going to the next worship session. And I worked overnights at a radio station, and as I got to work that night, pulled into the parking lot at 11:30 at night, I see Pastor Ken and the other Russ standing in the parking lot waiting for me. And I thought to myself, this is going to be a messy breakup. So I get out of the car, and they're emotional, and they're upset. And I'm trying to tell them it's not you, it's me. It's not you, it's me. I'm not right for this. And finally, Pastor Ken gets angry, and he says, you can't believe you're just not enough of a man to come tell us that in person. And I'm like, that may be true. I'm going to go in, and I'm going to look outside in 5 minutes. If you're still here, I'm going to call the police. And when I looked outside, they were gone. Now, after you break up with someone, sometimes people tell you about your ex, or kind of keep tabs on them. So I heard that this group had gotten banned and kicked off different college campuses around where I went to school because they had harassed people. And they had intimidated people who had tried to get out of the group. I didn't face that, but I know a lot of other people who did. And they harassed people by just going up to them and trying to get them to come into the group. So I know I made the right decision, even though I never saw Kate again. But I am a happily married man. And I can tell you that love is indeed a spiritual thing. And I thank God I don't have to be in a cult to experience it.